Hello everyone, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, Sagar. Good evening.
Hi, Sagar.
All right. So how are you guys doing? So are you guys excited for this event?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So guys, this event is for network automation, Python network automation, Python Ansible automation, and I also had one demo conducted on last Thursday, where I demonstrated some API calls. So today I will take it, to the ground level, where we will just try to understand what is automation, what are the challenges in the traditional networking, why someone prefer going with automation. So it is gonna be your a fundamental class today. Then we will pick it up some Python theoretical topics, and that is how we will proceed. Okay, don't want to take a lab on the very first day and make you guys confused by not knowing where do you start this whole thing from. All right, so before I get started, I would like few of you to introduce yourself and let me know if you guys have worked on any automation project, or what's your expectation? Are you looking over on the Python side, or over on the Ansible, or over on the API? So what's your expectation from this batch, so that I can customize accordingly to that? Yes, guys. So please feel free to let me know your expectation.
Yeah, I'll go first. My name is Shravanti. I'm currently working in Dell in data center technologies, but I have no experience in Python and Scala or any of the programming. So my expectation here is to be little kind of expert in Python and Ansible. I'm like mostly currently working on data center in the AWS cloud. So want to try out some automation on those.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi Sagar, Satish here.
Yeah, hi Satish.
Actually, I'm new to this automation, and I don't have knowledge on any other programming languages. So I have gone through some of your videos, like basics of Python, like that. So there I got some knowledge on basics.
Okay,
So,
okay, great.
So I am expecting that things like daily activities, what we do in a regular basis, on like taking backups or working on Cisco upgrades or Nexus and FI related, load balancer related regular activities like adding VIPs or deleting, removing some modifications in that.
Okay.
So those kind of things I'm expecting from this Python, and I don't have any knowledge on Ansible and Cisco DevNet.
Okay, no issues, no issues. So that we will cover it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about others?
Yeah, hi Sagar. I'm Jitin. I'm working as a network engineer in Nokia. Actually, I was trying to learn the Python since 6 months, but I was watching the videos and those were all common. Like I was not able to relate with my day-to-day activity in networking. So suddenly, actually, this is what I got excited because I saw your video on YouTube and that was relating to the networking.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why I joined here. And be frank, I'm too much fresh in Python because I don't have any knowledge on scripting side. But yes, just now have the knowledge on networking side.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Hello, my name is Sachin Babbar, and sir, I will join. Means basically I am joined for the class for know about Ansible. I know about Python programming and Cisco DEVNet, some points, but not properly. Right now, about my profile, I'm working IG Airport Terminal 3 as a network engineer, and I want to know about the new things, so that's why I joined the class.
Okay. Yes, Sachin. Yeah. So I'll talk about that. Okay. So anyone
Thank you,
else?
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, Sachin. So anyone else or yeah, Prashant? Yes.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm working in data communication. As I have 5+ years of experience in network routing and switching only. I wanted to get familiar with the Python libraries which are relevant for the networking perspective,
Okay.
like
Yeah. You're
Ansible
welcome.
and Git and Norman and all.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Mhm.
Yes, Pratap. You got any question? You there, Pratap?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was go through the YouTube videos and Udemy videos, those kind of like Python automation, network automation. But I tried virtually. I tried PyCharm and some virtual TNSP, those kind of tried. But I didn't get any opportunity to work on real time. So I want to know how to work in real time. So that's why I'm eager to learn this course, Sagar.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah. So for my understanding, all of you guys are new here, and you guys are excited to learn network automation. So let me clear you. This is automation with respective to network devices. Okay. Python or automation is very vast. It can be used across on application building or might be the big data side, or it could be any other platform, but we will stick with networking side only, which is like Cisco or Juniper or F5 or Palo Alto firewalls, a SDN solution, but respective to the networking side. Yes, Kedar, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so no, just like I mentioned this last time as well. So I have done a little bit of networking, automation and stuff. So I'm expecting like intermediate to a little bit advanced level of automation stuff. So will that be also covered, right? Just to make sure.
Yes, yes, it will be covered. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sagar, one question. How about AWS automation, the cloud?
Yeah, that will also be covered under Ansible portion. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, sir.
All right.
Jay,
Yeah, go ahead, Sujay.
sorry for joining late. Yeah. So was the introduction going on? Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to introduce, you can introduce. And what is your expectation here? Have you worked on any automation so far?
Yeah. So myself, Sujay. So I've worked with AT&T as a network engineer. So basically, we work on SD-WAN implementation. So we have Viptela, VeloCloud, and Silver Peak. And we do basics of firewall and Zscaler as well. So my expectation here is, we do, there is some part of automation which has a different team, but as we work on SD-WAN, so we constantly, work with that team, and I find that is very interesting, and wanted to learn, and even I wanted to move on to automation end. I wanted to change from operations to a deployment or a lead engineer kind of role. So looking forward for that. Yeah, that's it from my end.
Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
okay, all right, guys. So we can have interactive the way we proceed with slides and etc. So let's begin with some general discussion. So guys, you guys are all from the networking background. So there is a question put up on the slide. What are the challenges in daily network job or traditional job, and why automation? So basically, uh, I just want input from you guys. Why do we need to automate, and what are those stuffs that can be automated in the networking field? So you name them, and I'll write it on my tab. So who is going first? So what is why I mean, what are the things that we can automate to simplify the task?
Example
Be-
VLAN. So we want to configure, like we have 10 to 15 switches, and we want VLAN to be configured on every switches or any interfaces, or any basic configuration or backup of 10 to 15 switches. So basically, that is one important task that we are doing.
Okay, so I'm gonna say VLAN backup, or in general repetitive task.
Easy of work.
Okay, so let's say easy from what perspective?
Simplified configuration and all.
Okay, what else do you think when you think?
Just
Reliability.
just
Reliability.
Scalability.
Yeah.
Okay,
Installation and upgrades.
okay, installation and upgrades.
It can be used for mass configuration changes.
Okay, so that I have put here, repetitive task, or let's say mass configuration.
just to avoid the human effort on repeated tasks, like for taking the configuration backups and utilization, CPU utilization, memory utilization.
Okay.
Mainly the repeated task to avoid means to avoid the human effort on repeated task.
Okay, so that let's say that it's over here. Okay. So what else? Tell me whatever whatever comes in your mind, which you are being tired of doing and you want to automate now.
Yeah, so I am currently certifying Cisco versions, so running test cases like.
Sorry, Kedar, I missed you. You're running iOS upgradation. Sorry.
No. So test cases to certify the operation of certain protocols, if it's working or not.
Okay.
And also to like catching SNMP traps and generating alarms to see if there's any error on device, like capturing that.
Okay, SNMP test, I can see, right?
Yeah, and like triggering alerts to, so that we get a ticket that there's something wrong in network, like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Multiple status.
Multiple
Device status.
Okay, repetitive task, or I can say multiple show command, but yeah, let's say multiple devices. Okay, what else?
So in Viptela, I've just come across, maybe I'm wrong, sorry if this is wrong, but they use the script to push the configuration as well as for the deployment of like there are 20-30 sites at once, so 20-30 device at once. So maybe deployment or pushing some configurations.
Okay, so let's say simplify the SDN solution. Okay, so which includes all deployment and the rest of management or configurations, etc.
Operation wise, end-to-end provisioning wise, troubleshooting like basic.
Okay, so troubleshooting is also required by these level 3 and level 2 engineers also. Okay.
Yeah, like basically end-to-end provisioning.
Okay.
where
And
F5, 40 or any of the vendors.
okay. All right. What else?
We can reduce the time and we can save the time.
Have you been guys asked any time to create some Excel for audit purpose?
Inventory wise.
Sorry?
Yeah,
Inventory.
I think we can also perform the assessments.
Yeah, so you might remember you might be
Yeah.
given some assignment to create
Yes.
the whole inventory with the serial number, what is the current iOS
Yes,
version they are
exactly.
running, right? So
Yes,
yeah, so
exactly.
Right.
let's say Excel edit audit as well, or audit purpose. Uh, so if you are from service level company, have you heard about service level agreement? If it is a P1 call, then within 5 minutes you have to
Yes, yes,
do a basic troubleshooting, reply
Yeah.
back to customer, right?
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
yes, correct,
also
correct.
yeah, so this also involves certain steps here, like logging to boxes, fetch some BGP neighbor, write an email. So you can automate the complete process from troubleshooting to send a email to whoever customer or whoever stakeholder is.
Yeah.
Okay. And rest of the things I see we have discussed. Let's say if you're talking about iOS upgradation, then yes, we have written here. If we are talking about pushing configuration or maintenance window, then we have said that mass configuration. Okay. If you're thinking about adding devices, taking down the old devices, we can think about point number 3. Okay, there is one more thing which you might guys have done, that might have done, which is called standardization process. Okay, standardization or compliance. For example, I got 10 routers. Okay, so I see that on one of the router there are 10 line of ACL, whereas on the second router where there should have been 10 ACLs, but for some reason there are only 5 ACLs. On some router there are 15 ACLs. Okay, now this is a mismatch in the configuration. They are not standard configuration. So we do standardization. That means the uh, management approved config should be present across all over on the devices throughout that network. It could be ACL, which should be standardized. It could be 801X configuration. It could be the NTP servers. Might be one is still pointing to old server, whereas others are pointing to a new ones. So you are gonna standardize so that there is no old references on anywhere. So a common set of configuration is being standardized by the management. They will assign you. You will do the audit. You will see which device is falling on a non-compliance pattern. Might be some devices only 50% compliance, some are 70% compliance. You will prepare all the Excel, then you will create the maintenance window, and then you will go with the change plan. So if something is to be added, you will add it. Something has to be deleted, you will delete it. But end of that project, you will make sure that you are reaching 90% compliance. So 100% is not always possible, because sometimes what happens, some devices may not accept the command which you're trying to execute it, because in your network you might have 3850 ISR 4400 4500 switch. So one command might miss on the other. So 90% is still better rather than having 50% compliance. So this is also taken in very serious note, because sometimes the configs are can be vulnerable or can lead to attacks or etc. So that's also one challenge. So these are basically some of the traditional challenges that we been doing manually, but now we want to automate it and get the things done in much better way. And also one more important thing is to avoid human error. You might have seen that during maintenance window, if someone asks you to execute a consecutive 3 to 4 maintenance windows, there is chances you might miss one, or you might copy one image to another box, or you might been asked to delete something, but you might have deleted it from a different box. So it happens. It's a all human error which we might do during the maintenance window. So if you have written the script, if they are being checked by the management or the senior engineer, so on the day of maintenance window, you just come to your desk and just hit the execute button. That's all. And once the job is done, you will go and check the post validation to make sure whether protocols are being converged, whether the router has been upgraded to the right version. So that would be your post validation check. Okay, so there will be no human errors, at least by deleting something or by adding something. Okay, so those things all can be avoided if you go with a proper automation system. All right, so to handle all these things, we need to understand what are the options that we have. Okay, how can we automate it? How the automation done, or what are the programming language that we can go with? So there used to be something called Java, C, C++. People used to use it for even network automation. But this was not a very used case, because these are very complex programs. So someone who has already done this in their academics, or who has at least a good hands-on of 3 to 5 years, they can work on Java programming or C, C++ programming, and on a requirement coming from network team, they can just work on some development and build some solution. But now the transition is moving towards a trend where network engineer is being expected to write a code. Okay, he is expected to be a guy who can bring the automation. Now that's not possible by having this sort of complex language. And meanwhile, there is also the other alternatives, better alternatives, lightweight alternatives like Python, okay, which is seen in high demand. And there's where the network automation also, we see that we leverage on Python to automate the old routers, switches, firewalls. Okay, and along with Python, there are other programming tools that we can use: Python, Ansible, Chef, Puppet. So these are all different automation tools. Postman is not a language. It's not a language. It's a application. Okay. So let me write application on another column. So let's say Postman comes here. I also have, let's say, PyCharm. Okay. Let's say that Microsoft Visual Studio, or let's say your Notepad++, Sublime Text. These are all applications that we need to write the program. But these are the actual programs or programming language that we depend upon. Okay, so Python, Ansible, Chef, Puppet. You guys might have heard about Python and Ansible. Have you guys, have any one of you heard about Chef and Puppet for any reason here?
Yes, right about that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the difference?
Yeah, from what I know, I think Ansible is more easier to understand in terms of the data formatting. So I just probably have read about the three of them, trying to understand how they really work. Chef and Puppet, they are more harder for network engineers to really understand. Apart, except you're coming from software.
Actually, I could not hear you. There was a disturbance at your side. So anyone else who knows a very basic difference between Python Ansible versus Chef Puppet?
Does like is Ansible like agentless and the other two are like you have to install an agent to communicate with the devices?
Yes, that's right. Okay. So it's a agent versus agentless. That means, uh, let's say you got all your networking devices. Okay. And this is a customer premise, and you have been asked to automate, or you have been asked to write script and run. So what happens in Python and Ansible is, you whatever you have to install, you install on your machine, and then you run it over on SSH. Okay, on any of these boxes. It could be a router, it could be a firewall, it could be a SDN or whatever. They all work over on SSH, nothing to be installed uh, on the end devices. So that is called as agentless. And examples are Python and Ansible. Whereas on the other side, Chef and Puppet, they need some add-ons added here. There is a respective add-ons that you need to download from the respective programs and install it on the end devices. Now, how many customers would be happy to install some add-ons on their machine? So that's some challenge why some customer, or at least 70-80% customer, may not go with agent based automation language. They might go with Python Ansible because it's agentless. Whatever is it to be installed, it will be installed on the network engineer's machine. On the customer side, they only allow SSH. Okay, they just have to allow SSH, which by default they would have been allowed, because even if a network engineer has to do a SSH, remote SSH to the box, they need SSH to be enabled. Okay, so this is one uh, difference between agentless and agent. But if someone is ready for, to go with the agent based, then yes, this has very good platform. They have the graphical interface, they have inbuilt API, they have support for SSH, they have support for SNMP. You can schedule the job. So pretty much they are very advanced, but only the delimitation is, they need agent, they are agent based. And if for some reason customer is happy, he has no issues with installation, Chef and Puppet is very good tools. Okay, but not the other way around. If customer don't want, then there is no hopes of getting Chef and Puppet installed. You have to go with Python and Ansible only. Okay, so these are the programming language that we would be focusing, Ansible and Python. And I've written the application. So these are some application where we can, write our code, and we can execute it. All right, so let's say what all tools I require. Complete set of tools that is required to write my basic script. So let's say, first thing, I will decide what programming language I need, either whether I need Python or Ansible. Okay, then I need a ID. It's called integrated development environment, where I would write my codes. Okay, so I will think about what ID I need. So I can go with Microsoft Visual Studio, MS Studio, or PyCharm. Okay, or Atom, or there are hundreds of them. If you Google for Python ID, you will get 100 of them. So these are few one which are heavily used in almost all enterprises. Apart from this, you need the end devices. Definitely you need a device where you can test it. So you can go with GNS, you can go with EVNG, or you can go with CML, or if you have your own rack, you can go with this. Okay, but you cannot go with packet tracer, because they do not have the necessary uh, privilege for running Python automation script. So exclude packet tracer from the list. GNS or EVNG, CML, or your own rack. All right. So what is the process now? So let's assume you got your machine. You will install Python. You will install PyCharm. Okay. And let's say you have necessary end devices kept in a virtualized system. Okay. Let's assume GNS3 itself, which most of people have heard. So this is the basic requirement from the class point of view. If it is a environment, if it is a production environment, the end devices are kept in the customer enterprises. So I'll tell that design as well. So let's say that customer has his network, which you are accessing over on remote. So let's say this is customer XYZ. He has plenty of routers. He got plenty of switches. He got plenty of firewalls. Okay, and load balancer or proxy, whatever. Now this is his customer enterprise. You are a remote network engineer. Either you might be connecting to his VPN first, and then you might be taking the SSH to these devices on the customer end. So in this scenario, you will install PyCharm, Python over on your machine. You don't need that third point here because that's already on the customer environment. So over on SSH, you will automate Python using Python and PyCharm. You will automate. You will automate over on SSH. Okay, over on the SSH protocol. There are certain scenarios where there wouldn't be any concept of VPN. Instead, you have to connect to customers bash server or Bastion server. Okay, Bastion server, or let's say terminal server. Okay, so you connect to their Bastion server or terminal server, and from that server, the reachability is on their devices. Now, again, there are two sub challenges. Challenges number one, what if you do not have the necessary write permission or download permission or installation permission on their Bastion server? So that means no Python can be installed or no PyCharm can be installed. Okay, so that's, let's say, one challenge if in case you're going with the Bastion server scenario. So in this condition, in this scenario, you have to install on your machine PyCharm, PyCharm and Python goes on your machine. You will take first connection to the Bastion server. So I'm gonna say that it's a first connection, and then using certain functions, you will take second connection to the end devices. Okay, so that is also possible. We call that as redispatch function. So when I take the NetMiko module, I'll talk about this redispatch module where two connections would be taken from your machine going to the Bastion server, and from the Bastion server you will take the second connection to the end box. Okay, that is when you don't have the download permission or installation permission on Bastion server. But for some reason, let's say the customer is wise enough and he has given you all the installation permit, so you can install PyCharm and Python directly on their Bastion server and you can automate it from here. So you just take the access of that Bastion server. It could be MSTC or it could be the Citrix VDI. And on that machine, if you have all the download permission, you can download, and from there you can automate. So automating via Python Ansible is very, very simple. If you know what are you basically going to do with, either you can put it on your machine, then you can automate, or if you have the download options on your customer side, then you can do it straight away from there. If he doesn't give you the download option or installation option, then you can make use of that redispatch method. It will basically be two connections. So one from your machine to the Bastion server, and from the Bastion server to the end device. So are you clear till here?
I don't know if you can hear me, but not really. I wanted to say out something. Can you hear me?
Actually, your voice is not very clear.
Okay. What about now? Is it better?
I hear a lot of noise from your side.
Yeah, sorry. I'm actually on the road. That's the major problem I have. But don't worry, okay, you can continue then.
Can you repeat the last point again, please?
Yeah, okay. So for me, for my own scenario, I have, if I want to test, I need to have a batch server. So that's what I wanted to clarify. So if you don't have a batch server, private DNS protection, that means everything you're running on your environment is just needed. It's not possible for you to run automation.
It's very difficult to hear you. Might be you can type if you don't mind.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, because there's a lot of distraction from your side. Might be you're out right now, so you can just type. Okay, so I think it was Mohammed who asked the last point. So let me tell you the three scenarios. One scenario when you have all the read-write permission and you connect to VPN, and that's how you take the connection. The second one is when you have read-write permission on the Bastion server or terminal server. And the third scenario when you are with the Bastion server scenario, but there is no read-write method on this. So in that case, you can go with redispatch method. So it will take two different connection. Okay, so these are three different scenarios. So out of you, who fall in which scenario? Out of three, which scenarios do you guys fall? Yes, Pratap.
Sagar, can you repeat the question? Your voice is not clear to me. Can you repeat the question again?
So I'm asking which scenario do you guys fall? Do you guys fall under first scenario or second scenario or third scenario? Am I audible?
No, actually, just for
Yes,
me,
Sagar.
not able to audible to me.
Yeah, you're audible, Sagar.
Yeah, yes. So Mohammed, I think you once check your connectivity. Okay, so Rajesh says first scenario, that is the VPN scenario. The moment he is connected to VPN, he have access all to the boxes. So that is very easy scenario because all required tools he can install on his laptop and he can automate.
What about if you are in the office environment, like we are present in the office? In that case.
So in that case also, that will be like your first.
No, remotely that is a different scenario we can do. But if you are in the office environment, in that case, which scenario will fall in this case?
So that you have to tell me. You connect to any VPN when you take access to your shared customer or in your office. Are you as a infra engineer itself maintaining own infrastructure? So what is your design look like?
Basically, we are from the cloud provider where we are managing the customers' equipment as well as our own enterprise with the application center. So normally we don't connect to the VPN, but for some customers we used to connect to the VPN as well. So basically, we fall in two categories as well.
So in your scenario, you can install it on your machine itself. If you have direct SSH capabilities directly from your machine, you can install it on your machine directly. Okay. And on the other scenario where you said VPN, for that VPN should be enabled. And again, the tools can be put up in your machine itself.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, actually, it's second scenario. It will all of the devices will be accessed through bash and servers only.
Okay, so in that scenario, again, there are sub scenarios, whether you have the installation permission on that.
No. That depends on the department. Let's suppose we see, for us, actually, we do not have any authority to do any scripting or anything. There is a different team is there. If I'm a part of that team, then yes, I can.
Oh, okay. All right. Fine. So let's move further. If you guys are good till here.
This third scenario, actually, I faced this challenge.
All right. So let's say let's talk about different ways to automate. Okay. So far we just discussed about getting started. What are the tools we required? What are the programming language we need? We know Python, Ansible, but now I'm talking about the different methods that can be used in general to automate. Let's say Python and Ansible is one. Let me put that here. Let's say that Python and Ansible is one method to automate it. What would be the other methods? Have you guys heard about EEM?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. We're
Yes.
using on Cisco devices to.
Yes. Not very highly used, but yes, it's a part of your CCNP and core. So that's why I thought of keeping here. It's a event based and locally significant automation. So let's say on one router, there is a uplink interface which tends to go down or frequent flapping, and someone has to log in, go to interface, put a no shutdown. So that can be treated as one event. It's a interface or syslog kind of event. You can write some locally significant code saying that if this interface go down, then bring it up and send an email to so and so DLT. Okay, event based kind of thing. And Python and Ansible, as I already written. What is the third method which is highly used? I discussed on Friday, Thursday for some people. So let's say that if this is working on SSH, so is there any other way to automate? So let's say that I got a box, okay, and I'm automating over on SSH TCP/22. Is there any other method apart from SSH that I can automate? Sorry?
Using API.
Yes, API. Okay. So API is also another way of automating, and it's highly used these days. Okay. API works on top of HTTP protocol. If you're wondering how API works, then it's working on top of HTTP process. So all your next gen firewalls, SDN solution, the Cisco Catalyst 9000 series, 8000 series, even your ISR 4K, CSR 1 kV, these are all programmable over on HTTP. There is where you can put your API services and you can automate it. Okay. Whereas SSH, these are all your old boxes. You might have heard about Catalyst 3850 or these 29 series. the 800 series, the 1600 series. These have only SSH or telnet. But you know that most of company will not keep telnet because they are plain text. They carry the plain text password. So the only left out option is SSH. Okay. So you will decide whether you want to automate via SSH or HTTP. This comes to your mind when you are being assigned first project. So if a customer is being assigned to you, you will think whether should I automate via SSH or HTTP process. They might have a mixed scenario. There might be some old devices and 60% the new devices. So in that scenario, you can take care those 60% using API method or HTTP process, and remaining 40% you can handle with SSH method. Okay.
And what about DEVNET?
What about
DEVNET? DEVNET.
telnet? Telnet, we don't use it. You are telling telnet, right?
No. DEVNET. DevOps.net.
DevNet is not a protocol. It's a certification name.
Yeah. Regarding that, I'm sorry.
DevNet is a certification name. It has nothing to do with protocol here. Okay. So it's like your CCNA, CCNP, CCI, etc. Routing, switching. We call data center. We call security. So DevNet is one of the name of the certification. Okay. So the two methods that we use for automation is over on either SSH protocol or HTTP protocol. Okay, so remember this, and remember so I have put multiple device vendors. You can think about all your FI or AWS cloud. They all are programmable via API method. And SSH is all, again, SSH doesn't mean that only old boxes. Some of the companies might shut down HTTP protocol on these boxes. They don't want to expose HTTP. Might be that has a vulnerability or it has a bug issue keeping HTTP on, but they still have kept SSH. Now to automate, you have to rely on SSH protocol of these models. So it depends on customer also. Not necessarily that they have enabled HTTP on them. Might be they enable SSH, so you are only left with SSH method itself, nothing else. Python, Ansible. Okay. Now I said that these are something which most of the people use. So remember, we can use the programming language Python, Ansible to automate over SSH. Okay. Also, we can use this to automate all this HTTP, that is API scripts. So we can achieve both SSH and HTTP. Both we can achieve using Python and Ansible. So you might be wondering how it works. So for that, you need to understand there is a different libraries available. Okay. So have you guys heard about NetMiko, Paramiko, or Nornia, PyNTC, NEPAM? Have you heard about all these modules? How many of you have heard about this Python libraries?
Yeah, Nornir and NetMiko and Paramiko, like
NetMiko and Paramiko.
Okay, so these are capable of only SSH. Okay, so if you use Python library, either one of this, they are only capable of SSH. So I said that Python can be also used for API. So do you guys know any library which can be used for HTTP? Any library which I can use over on Python for HTTP or API automation? Curl is not library. It's not Python library. It's a CLI command to test. Okay.
Git or Ninja, like Ninja.
Git is again not a library. It is a version control mechanism. I'm asking a library name. Have you guys heard about request library or NC client library?
GRE request, something like this.
Sorry?
GRE request like HTTP lib2 like this.
No, that is a you're talking now about different types of APIs like REST API or the XML API. So that is a different thing. Okay. So right now I'm asking about the Python way
the get
to
request, something like this.
Yeah, so there are libraries here in Python. So we can use request library or NC client library for API automation.
What about RAC client? Sorry.
What about?
RAC client.
Sorry, come again.
RAC client. RAS. RAC client.
RA?
Yes. Client.
What is client?
Yes.
Is this library name?
No, I think Rust client is just an application to connect.
Yeah. So don't get confused with application name and Python library. These are all different things. Okay. So I'm talking about Python libraries now. So like how I said, Netmiko, Paramiko, Nornier, PyNTC, NEPAM, these are also some libraries, request library, NC client library. So request library work over on the, it works over on RESTconf method. And NC client work over on netconf method. Okay, these are all the topics from DEVNET certification. So when I'll cover DEVNET certification, I'll talk more about all this protocol. Okay. So now I understand that you people are still confused between what is tool.
Sagar, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, see, as I told you, I'm a big zero in Python. So the word which you are using, those are I haven't heard about those. So I hope you will cover all this, right?
Yeah. That is why I'm writing it again over here. Okay. So guys, remember when I say programming language, it is your Python, Ansible, or all other programming language that you might have heard like Java, C, C++. These are all called programming languages. Okay. When you say tool is something where you would perform the test, you might compile, you might interpret, you might run the test code. So tools, you have Postman, you have PyCharm application, you have Microsoft Visual Studio. Okay, so these are all tools where you would write the code. These are the programming language. Okay, and the libraries that I was talking about, they are part of Python community. So there are different libraries available here. So you have NetMiko, you got Nornia, request library, NC client. These are all libraries. Say for example, when you just purchase a brand new smartphone, so you pay for hardware plus the software which is Android inside it. Okay, so you pay for the hardware and the software. So when you get back to home, you might need to install certain applications. Might be you don't like the default music player, default things, you might need to delete. You go to Play Store now. You go to Play Store and then you search for so and so application and you just try to install it. Okay, so similar way here in Python programming language, you have multiple libraries. You have to decide which library you want. Okay, so let's say these are all SSH library. That doesn't mean that I'll go and take all three and put in my script. I have to decide which one of them I need it, which one has more number of features or benefits, which one is faster, which one take very less resources. So I have to decide, and then I say that let's go with NetMiko because my customer are all running over on SSH. So let me go with NetMiko. Okay.
This is the most reliable.
Yeah, and let's say that I come to know that I have been assigned a customer who are running all these SDN solution or next generation firewall. They have the HTTP capabilities, so I can go with the request library because this library is capable of handling all API calls. Okay, so you will gain this knowledge when we start with our program. So right now it's all overview. So when I start with the program, I'll start with the first module, NetMiko. So we will do all types of automation here, like taking a backup, mask configuration, fetching the commands, okay, deployment, the Excel reading, the regex, regular expression. So all this will be covered in this module, first module. So right now we are just setting a ground level so that you guys know what is tool, what is programming language, what are libraries. We have still not jumped into it. So clear so far?
Sagar, just to get clarified, this is a demo class, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we are not officially starting.
No, it's not demo. It's a class 1 only. But I have not started with any module yet.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a class 1 only. It's no more demo.
Okay, got it.
So any doubt so far? I hope you guys know what is tool now and what is programming language and what is library now, by now at least. Okay.
Yes, good.
All right. So let's say, okay. So let me just briefly tell you what is this curriculum look like. So we will start with Python first. Okay, I will go with some theoretical topic. So in this theoretical topic, I'll cover all these, like what is data structure, what is conditions here, what are for loop or loop iterations, variables. So all those things which we will be using while writing the script, we will discuss it under Python theory. And then I'll pick the first library, that would be the NetMiko library. And in this library, I will show you all our day-to-day challenges that we had written previously, right? So all those things will be showcased here by writing the script. We will take one script. Might be we are writing a very simple script of show IP int brief first. Then we will start advancing. We will write it for multi-device, keeping the credential on a notepad, reading from Excel, regex. So all the scenarios will be checked with NetMiko. Once NetMiko is done, then we go towards Paramiko, PyNTC, NEPAM, Nornio. So these are all SSH libraries. Okay. So once the SSH portion is done, then we will jump toward Ansible. And here we will check again SSH scenarios. And I will also show you some API methods here. So we will consider vendors like F5, Palo Alto, okay, AWS, the ACI, SD-WAN. So these are some technologies that we will cover here. Okay, even I'll show you how can we integrate with a Slack community so that the message can be posted on them. And then we will walk towards the DEVNET syllabus. So under the DEVNET syllabus is where I will cover up the API calls. So here we will learn about HTTP, HTTP header, HTTP calls, the application postman comes here. Okay. And when I'm gonna show you the PyCharm or Python method, then I'll show you the request library and NC client library here. Okay. So this is how the curriculum is all divided. I just gave you in a very brief manner. But if you want to see the detailed content of the course, then you can visit on this website. So this website has all the curriculum in very detailed manner. Okay, 1 second. I think I clicked somewhere. Okay. So from module 1 to module 19 is all labbing, and module 20 is reserved for project. So I'm gonna give you some project and you guys are gonna work on that and submit. If you have any doubt, you can put on the Slack community. If you need any assistance, we will discuss in the live class. So first 10 to 15 minutes and every class and 10 to 15 minutes is always reserved for doubt clearing session. Okay. So this is about the curriculum, and regarding the date and time, it's Monday to Thursday, weekdays batch, 10 p.m. IST. And I remember the last class someone asked, there's a fest going on, so can we start 10 minutes late? So I said, yes, we can do that. So if you're falling under any such time zone and you want me to start 10 minutes early or 10 minutes late, so I'm all fine with that. I'm all good with that. Okay. And regarding the admission, all those things, the backend has put up the message in the Zoom chat. So you guys can reach out to them, or let me put it on my screen as well.
What about the certification level for this for all course?
Sorry?
What about the certificate overall course for the duration? Is it completely covered by certification or without certification? So,
Both from certification and from the production point of view.
okay, thank you.
Okay, so you can reach out, you can take a quick snip of this. Yes, this is a beginner level course. I mean, this is beginner to advanced level course. So we expect or we pre-assume that folks joining would be with no coding background. So we start with basic. That's why Python theory comes first. Okay.
Yeah.
Quick question, Sagar. Are we going to cover object-oriented programming in Python or no? That's like.
That's the advanced thing. We normally don't keep it here until it's a core Python developer. People don't build any library. But if you guys need any input, then I'll surely help you guys. Okay.
Yeah, because so I was working in my previous company. So we were working on codation, like if we are getting two alerts, how to code it. So we had to create modules and stuff. So just like introduction would be, and an example. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
All right. So guys, that's all from my side for today. Tomorrow I'll start with Python theory. If you guys need any reading material, you guys can ping on that number or etc. I'll give you some reading.
Hello, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, when is the main class starting? Because I noticed you've been doing demo since about 2 days now, since weekend. When is the proper class starting off? Because sometimes I've missed some of your demo classes.
So this is a class 1. Today is a class 1. It's not a demo. So
wow.
This is
So
not.
what's going to happen when one makes payments? Then I was asking about the payment in dollars. I noticed on the WhatsApp it was said 10,000 rupees, right?
You have to talk to the backend. They will guide you. Okay.
How do I reach the backend?
I
mail?
had put mail or WhatsApp ID or whatever I had put up on my screen, right?
But
so you
most
can,
of the WhatsApp, you cannot send chats there. It's only admin that can send chats.
no, these are direct numbers. You can call them or you can send number or you can use the email ID to reach to them.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a class 1. I'm not going to repeat the same thing again.
Wow. What's going to happen then? I never knew this. The mail that was sent to me said the demo class.
No, demo. Yeah, demo. I took it on Thursday, and that was basically the demo. So today I started with the flow. I'm starting first week or first few classes with very basic fundamentals, and then I'll jump into the script writings. Okay.
Is it possible I can have this recording, please?
Yeah, this recording is available. We will give you. I mean, if you can email this, we will provide you today's recording.
Sagar, just one question. Already I have registered it, but what I got the information like today is like a demo class. So
I mean, see,
it is.
See, when
complete. Just let me complete everything. I joined a little bit 10 minutes late. Okay, so not sure, but what I got the information is like today is like a demo class. So
yeah,
just to clarify this
so
point.
demo in the sense, it's not that I'm going to repeat once again in the class. Okay, it's a class 1 which is publicly available for most of the guys who want to take it as demo, but for others it is a actual class itself. So basically attending the classes where other people have enrolled for.
Yeah, that's what I've already enrolled, but
yeah,
what about the material wise, all those things in this case?
Yeah, you will get everything. You will get everything on the WhatsApp group. So we will send you some welcome kit email, which will have your login details for the web portal, lab access, Slack community. Okay, so I'll put all the instruction in the WhatsApp group after this call.
Okay,
and today's recording also I'll put up in the WhatsApp group.
So this is the recording session will be available for lifelong or just Slack?
Yeah, it's a lifetime. All our batches are lifetime recording accessible. Okay. Lab access will be 3 months, or we guide you on home lab setup, but the recording would be lifetime accessible.
What about the credential wise, all those things, so we get all that information?
Yeah, see, we don't send credentials separately. We send one formal welcome kit email, which will have all the details.
So when we can expect this?
So we'll expect it might be in another 1 or 2 days. Okay.
Okay. So just one small request. Uh, we are actually based in Dubai, so it would be great if you can start little 10 minutes late. It will.
Sorry, your voice is not audible.
I need to say it would be great if you can start little 10 minutes late instead of 8:30. Can you make it as 8:40 or something? It would be great.
Today we started at 10 p.m. You are talking in Indian IST.
No, in GMT. For Indian IST, can you make it as 10:10 or it would be great for me.
Okay. So you drop that in our WhatsApp group, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
You are already there in the group. There I got that.
Sorry?
You're already in the group, right? Final Python, VK, this one only, right?
Yeah. I'm there. Yeah, you can put up there. All right, guys. So any other doubt before we wind up?
Okay, but one thing I have another query. Regarding that certification, is that based on Cisco exam or global exam or other part?
Cisco DevNet.
No, total this batch course you have mentioned, right?
Total duration is 2 months, 2 to 3 months.
Okay. After that, the exam time will be there. How much days left? One complete.
Exam depends on you. You have to book it on Pearson website.
Okay, that your backend team will help or what?
See, I think you having very confused thing. You do one thing. You talk to our backend. Okay, how does Cisco certification work? You please talk to backend. Okay, so they'll guide you how to book the Pearson website. They can help you to book the exam for you.
Yes, including that, how much cost will be that? I don't know. I have to discuss about these details.
See, I have put all the details, right? So you have to contact them. Write email or you send WhatsApp or call them.
Okay, thanks.
So any questions on the technical part? Because see, this is not the place where I talk about sales and everything. So that's why we have kept it very simple. Just send email or call them or WhatsApp them. They'll guide you with all the next step. Okay. So any question with the class or any technical question which you have from today's class? Otherwise, I'll wrap up for the day.
Yeah, one question, sir.
Yeah.
There are multiple libraries in the Python, right? So
Yes.
which we use mostly in the real time?
It all depends. Sometimes some enterprises create their own libraries also. But if someone don't want to create it, then they can go with Nornier or they can go with Netmiko. Or if they want to start API, then request library. So there is no standard. As I told, what's your customer? If he is a small scale enterprise or a mid segment, or they have a multi vendors, they have all the modern devices or old devices. Based on that, you will decide what module you have to pick up.
Okay, so based on our requirement, what are the changes, what are the configurations we do? Or based on that, we go with that library?
Yes.
And hardware also.
Hardware in the sense?
Like what are the devices we are having the enterprise end?
Yeah, the customer basically, right? Yeah. So depending upon that, you will decide what module is best for you.
Okay.
Okay.
So like one question here. So like as we discussed, so we use APIs for also automation. You also mentioned there, for next generation firewall and SD-WAN, they have a separate API. So in that also we have to write a code using one of these modules, one of this libraries, and we will push that code to API. Is that how it works?
No. API works on different concept. The developers of those vendors might have coded some API, a single line of API calls. That calls we initiate from our application. So we can use some application like Postman, or I can use a curl towards that API call, or I can use a Python script also to make a call and fetch the detail.
Okay, so you'll explain that in detail.
Yes. I have demonstrated this in my last demo classes. I showed it for FI, LTM, and Palo Alto. So I will give that link in the group as well. So if you have missed it, you can once watch to see how the API calls are made.
Yeah, I've already enrolled and I've got the access, but will I get today's and last demo class video also in my?
Yeah. I'll put up in the I'll put up there itself.
Okay, so
in the
if you-
WhatsApp group itself, I'll place it.
Yes. Okay. So the recording will available in 24 hours or 12 hours, right? Or this recording also.
I mean, today's recording is much faster. Otherwise, it takes 2 to 3 hours at least.
Okay. Sure. Thanks.
Okay, please, when is the next class?
So next class is tomorrow, same time, 10. Okay, Indian hours.
Okay, then I need to find out payment details and all of that. Unless the one can still continue the class and make the payment much later. I need to listen to today's class. I missed a whole lot. I joined very late, and to imagine that is the first live class is very important. But I have
no issues. I'll recap a few things in the next class as well. Okay.
It's better I have the knowledge, even if I thought you're recapping tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm chatting the backend up already so that whatever information I need, and then the recording. If I can get the recording at least.
Yeah, sure. So you just talk to the backend. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. So I'm winding up for the day, and I'll recap whatever we did in today's class. Might be 10 minutes.
I hope this training is with a lot of labs.
That's right.
Practical labs. Okay.
That's right. Okay. All right. So Samrat, do you have any question? I see you have raised your hand.
No, actually, this is regarding the recording. So someone asked, so I've got my answer.
All right. Okay. So for recording, you guys can email us. We will push you the recording. Okay. Or we will send even WhatsApp message after the call with the recording. So you can also go through that. So in next 30 minutes, you will receive WhatsApp messages with recording. And those who are enrolled in that group, I'm going to post some reading material along with the recordings. Okay. All right, guys. So nice talking to you. It was an interactive session. Thanks, everyone. And catch up tomorrow. Okay. Same time.